Tyler, what is your excitement level for the season that's coming? What do you expect? What are you hoping for? Just as it stretches out before you, how are you feeling? What are you thinking about? And just all that type of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I'm super excited. You know, with the caliber team we got the potential to do a lot of great things. So I'm just really excited to get going.
What have the first several months been like for you, just going from where you were to becoming a college player at this level, on this stage, playing for this brand, getting ready to start a season?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a transition. Going from high school to college, no matter what level, it's just a big transition. But obviously, North Carolina being the highest level you can be at this level. So it's just more of a mental adjustment and everything. I mean, obviously the training and our schedule is different than it was in high school. It's a lot more professional in that way. But I think it's been a really good adjustment, and I've enjoyed every part of it so far.
In watching a video that Carolina put out about you about 2 weeks ago, I guess you have a little bit of a chip that you like to play with. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, I mean, something I've just always had, just competitive edge, competitive nature. Something I've always been taught by like male mentors in my life. Everybody that's coached me, been a part of my process coming up, has always told me like, if you don't play with that edge, somebody else will, and they're gonna take what's yours. So can't let that happen.
Is that what fuels you, or do you find little things here and there that you ride that with a little bit of extra rush, if you will, for your edge?
Yeah, I would say that generally does, just like that idea, that message, but also I'll definitely find things that, you know, get me going a little bit.
Tyler, what was your recruiting process like? When Coach Williams was still here, did they reach out to you that early, or was it only until after Coach Davis, you know, moved up that they started looking at you?
Yeah, they had reached out to me a little bit when Coach Williams was here, but it like definitely got more intense when Coach Davis took over. I had contact with Coach Roberson when he was here, but after that, it was all Coach Davis.
When you were getting recruited and you were meeting some of the guys, I'm sure, on this team, and once you had committed here and now that you're playing here, have you noticed a shift or a difference in the identity versus then to now of the team?
Yeah, I would say so. I wouldn't know as much of like how their chemistry and everything was last year, but the chemistry with this team is like the best, probably the best I've experienced on a team. Obviously, it's different from like AAU in high school where it's not as intense and not as committed, but the chemistry on this team is really, really good.
I don't know if you know this information or not, but every team usually has a motto or a saying or a phrase they like to say that represents the team that year. What's the team's message this year versus last year?
Coach Davis has pressed the message of validation. This year's validation of what they did last year. And we're all coming in with a chip on our shoulder as far as when it comes to that.
Given how short the bench was last year, did you come with any expectations like, you know, I may not get a whole lot of time this first year, or did you feel like you'll just play your way into the rotation?
Well, obviously, like the confidence of being a competitor, you want to come in and obviously fight for a chance to play, but at the same time, us putting in the work as far as like coming off the bench and giving Coach Davis an option to do that is ultimately going to make us a more successful team too. So what I had seen last year, I knew wouldn't be the case because I know guys like DeMarco and Dontrez putting in all this work in the off season. Us as freshmen coming in and working as hard as we have to come in and give minutes, meaningful minutes. So I didn't figure it would be the same as last year as far as rotation, but we had to work for that.
Tyler, how in the world does a guy, you led the state of Virginia in scoring all time, I think 4-time all-state player, right?
Mm.
How in the world do you have a chip on your shoulder with that type of stuff? Like, how do you feel like you're underrated when you're, like, I mean, this is where Allen Iverson came from. Like,
Right.
where, I mean.
Well, you know, everybody look at like where I'm from, and you could say like level of competition, who I played against in high school, like, or just not even recognize AAU in general and just look at what I did in high school and go off of that. So people will have their opinions. And as far as like I don't look too much in the rankings, but when I look at the rankings, I feel disrespected every time. So it was just, that was part of it, but at the same time, it's just, people are always gonna criticize regardless, so just take it, let it fuel you, move on.
Do you kind of like that a little bit? Just sort of having that, something else that you can just sort of infuse yourself with?
Yeah, definitely, of course. I mean, guys at this level, everybody has a chip one way or another. So, like, little things like that can fuel you is always helpful, but also just like knowing what the end goal is and just working hard for the success of the team, but like also yourself.
Leaky said the other night, I asked him like, who's standing out to you in terms of the new guys. This was after the exhibition game. And he said that you tend to ask him like, hey, come guard me, like, because of how good he is defensively. Is that, is he a guy you look up to, or is that just a relationship you like to, that's fun for you since he's so good defensively, like to test yourself against him?
Definitely, absolutely. Nah, Leak, that's my guy. Leak, and he's been pushing me and making me better every single day in practice. So that's honestly a big reason why Carolina was a great fit for me, is saying I get to go against, in my opinion, the best defender in the country every single day. Like, where you gonna get better reps than that? You know what I'm saying? So it's it's great. I always come up to him, ask him to guard me, look at different like looks of if he on me on the ball or when he's closing out and different stuff like that. And can't get a better look than Leaky Black coming at you. So yeah, it's definitely good.
Tyler, your reputation is as a shooter, but what else do you do at a very high level?
I can score any way you want it, honestly. So shooting makes that a lot easier, but we have a lot of guys that can make plays. So if you're gonna attack me on a closeout, you gotta close out really hard, and I can take advantage of then attacking you in a lot of different ways, whether it's getting to the mid-range, getting to the paint, making a decision myself, or whatever the case may be. But I've gotten better at taking the term shooter because I know I can shoot the ball really well, but at the same time, definitely a scorer. Like, however you want it, you can get it.
Is that one of the chips too? That
Oh
what your label is?
yeah. That's just another one. That's just, you just hear it, you say, all right, and then show them what you can do.
One or two more before we go to the weight room, anybody?
Got a lot of tattoos on you. Any of them have to do with UNC or maybe a message that like revolves around your game?
Around my game, well, I got the word anomaly on me. That's got a lot of different reasoning behind that, but part of it is just like being able to do a lot of different things, being undefined. Obviously, some of it has to do with my personal life as well, but I think that can define it pretty high.
Tyler, after the exhibition game, one of our readers was very pleased about you knocking down the shots and everything. And I guess it was he or she said, like, I think he can be our next Kyle Korver. Not that Kyle Korver win here. But I mean, is that an apt comparison? Who would you compare your game to in terms of what you think your potential might could be, or who you would like to emulate?
Right. I mean, the way Kyle Korver can shoot the ball is
right. Who wouldn't?
ridiculous. So as far as shooting, that's a great comparison. But I think I'm working my butt off every day to be a better defender as well. I can, like I said, putting it on the floor, making decisions, like shooting and scoring off the bounce as well. So while Kyle Korver is a great shooter, I feel like there's guys that are proficient in other ways that I would, like to be compared to a little bit.
It was a little unexpected, I thought. Who's your pick for UNC Virginia football tomorrow?
Oh, I'm rocking with my boys. Come on.
Just checking.
Yes, sir.